Hello, it is Rabbi Bolton speaking to you from Hungary. A Jew has to learn something from everything. Everything is teaching us a lesson. So I thought, here's a lesson you can learn. Every Jew is supposed to be hungry for godliness. But here, the hunger is not in me, I'm in Hungary. And it comes to show us, it says in Hasidus, that the whole world is really hungry for Hashem. The whole entire world is striving to perfection, to be closer to the Creator. And that's our job. All we have to do is sort of link into this hunger, and even more, we sort of have the food to feed this hunger. It's like we've got 1 million sandwiches and there's millions of people running around starving in front of us. All we have to do is give it out, and one of the ways of giving it out is not to be afraid, not to be ashamed. And I want to tell you a story. This when I was on the plane coming here, so I was pretty tired, and I didn't. And when I was in the terminal in Tel Aviv, so I sounded the shofar and I went around asking people if they wanted to put on tefillin, and nobody did. So when I was on the plane, I figured, what am I going to stand up and ask people to put on tefillin? They're probably not going to want to. But then I thought, what would the Rebbe want me to do in this situation? So I stood up. I was sure, 100%, I have these extrasensory perceptions that are almost always wrong. And this was no exception. I was sure, 100%, that no one would want to put on tefillin. It was just obvious. It was in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. I stood up. The first person I asked said no. The second person said no. The third person almost cried. He said yes. He put on tefillin. I thank God that I wasn't a coward and that I put on the first person. I went to the back of the plane. I asked everybody. Nobody wanted to. Some guy in the back of the plane said he wanted to. He put on tefillin and he stood up and he prayed the whole Shemona Esrei. He must have stood there with tefillin for like 5 minutes. When I came back to sit down, as the man in back of me said he wants to put on tefillin. Why? Because the first person to put on was his son. And if his son does it, so he could do it also. It comes to show us that the whole world is hungry. The whole world is hungering for God. And all we have to do is just go out of our own limitations and our own baseless fears, link up to the Rebbe, and realize that we can do our part to bring Moshiach now.